And I would like to welcome Iveta Králová from Ecophon. Hello, Iveta. Can you hear me?
Hello. Wishing you a nice day, all of you.
Hello. And Iveta will have a short presentation about acoustic well-being, and look forward for this.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Iveta. I work for Ecophon. I would like to introduce Ecophon very shortly. We are a Swedish company producing acoustic ceilings and wall absorbers. And I am very proud to say that we are not only a producer, but we put a big effort and big time to collaboration or to collaborate with different organizations and associations and universities to show a sound effect on people, because sound and acoustics influence us a lot, influence our behaviors, our productivity, as it was mentioned already, and our health too. I work as a key segments manager. Why it's called the key segments manager? Because Ecophon focus on three main pillars, three main topics, because we think that there are spaces which need to be solved acoustically. And it's the office segment or office sector, education and healthcare facilities mainly. There people talk, communicate, stay and live. And so it's important to create kind of acoustic comfort there. And because we moved to home office since last year, we are on the home office, we can experience, and we have experiences also with the different sounds and noise. And some of them are pleasant, some of them are okay, but some of them are really disturbing. And we need to think about it. If there is a solution, if we can do something about it to feel better and comfortable. But I would like to go back or take step back, or better is to say take 1,000 years in a time, and to speak about our origin, background, because it's important to mention that we as human beings were developed outside, and our hearing has been developed outside too. What does it mean when talking about acoustics and sound? In or outdoors, usually the sound goes to our ears once, it bounces our ears once, and then it's gone. Comparing to the indoors, it's really another situation, yeah. So the hearing, it didn't change from that time. It still remains the same. And when coming indoors, and it's said that we spend more than 90% indoor, we need to take care about it, because the sound environment comparing the outdoor environment is really different. But within indoor, we can see, I put there two main examples. They are really different, but looking on the left, you can see a room. I would call it a room like 100 years ago, which can be found. And there are many surfaces, materials and furniture. So you can see there are sofas, tables, shelves, wardrobes, whatever. You can see there is a lot of textile. There are tapestry on the walls as well. And these all contribute to sound diffusion and also to sound absorption. So you can imagine being at home office in such a room. There will be no echo, there will be no noise. But when we see on the right today's apartments and flats, we can see that the materials has changed dramatically. We use a lot of glass, concrete, we use hard and reflective surfaces. What does it mean? It means that within such an interior, the sound energy is traveling within the room a little bit longer. How do we perceive it? We perceive it as an echo, as a higher noise level, and it's not good, for example, when you should talk to online to somebody. Yeah, it's really different, and there is a solution. There is a solution. You can put barrier kind of material which will absorb the energy, because this is what we want to make it more pleasant. So we as Ecophon produce the materials. Of course, they are in line with the sustainability. We take care about the indoor air quality too. As Rick mentioned, it's very important because we add something into the room, and we need to be sure that there are no emissions or very low emissions of CO2. There are no the volatile organic compounds like formaldehyde and such things, because we deliver this kind of material not only to interiors, I mean office segment, but to education. You can imagine that the pupils or children, today's children, sometimes they have asthma, they are allergic. So it's a really important topic to deliver healthy material indoors. And because I mentioned that we try to show the effect of the sound, I would like to share with you here one study. This study has been done by the ADHD organization in Denmark, which is the organization which takes care about the attention deficit of hyperactivity disorders. But in this case, they made a study in a classroom where were 28 pupils around 7-8 years old. They were without disorders. They were standard children, and they exposed them to the noisy and to the silent environment and asked them to draw a picture. You can see here a picture of Mila. He was drawing a tractor. You can just guess and assign which picture belongs to which environment. So here we can see a huge impact on, if we call it productivity or performance, it's up to you. But for me, it's not only performance, for me it's a behavior, because Mila felt somehow. So this is the message of this picture. The noisy environment do not only affect the performance, but also health. And I want to really highlight that health is something, and then the impact, it's not visible. It's hard to talk about it because it's not visible. But the primary consequences when we are exposed to a noisy environment for a long time can be, for example, it has impact on our autonomic system, like sweating, breathing frequency, heart rating, things like that, endocrine system, and stress level. We can see or we can feel stress level sometimes, yeah. Then the secondary consequences is blood pressure, higher blood pressure, blood clotting. And the last consequences I would like to mention, they are the manifest illness. They are called like manifest illness, which is, I think, crucial. There is no way back. You can't change it if you have kind of cardiovascular illness or diabetes. You have simple symptoms, you have the illness, and you have to live with this. So I think we should care about the indoor sound environment, because from the long perspective, it influences our health a lot. I was thinking to mention this, but I say, okay, it's from our daily life. So I want to show you one study again. Where is it's our daily life. It's effect of the background noise on food perception. Everybody eats. We like drinking, eating. We miss restaurants this time, in these days. And the study investigated the effects of auditory background noise on the perception of gustatory food properties, like a sugar level and salt level. Also food crunchiness and food liking. And the participants consume differently foods while passively listening to either no sound or quiet background sound or loud background sound. And the food, they were then rated in terms of the sweetness, saltness, and the liking. The reported sweetness and saltness was significantly lower in the loud environment compared to the quiet sound environment. But the crunchiness was reported to be more intense. You can test yourself when you go to a restaurant, when the restaurants are open. How do you behave? For example, if there is a loud music and you should talk to your friend and you eat, how do you feel? Is it good, bad, or what about the salt and sugar? How do you feel it? If you can then compare, it would be interesting, I think, for everybody. And I would like to finish the presentation and talking about acoustics with the wish that everybody can influence in somehow, because we can't turn off our ears. It's simply not possible. By another senses, it's much more easier. For example, when your eyes are tired, you just close them. But you can't close your ears. You need to take care about your hearing system. And I would wish everybody, either for private or working life, to find a balance, to take care and probably to feel like outside somewhere in the forest, like in the picture, because this is the optimal sound environment. There is no echo. You are more productive and you feel better. This is what's going on. Thank you for your attention. I'm finished just now. Prepare for your questions.
Thank you, Iveta. Many topics that can be brought up, but I was looking when I was preparing for this presentation. I was looking at the main sources of noise, basically in the cities, and it is increasingly being urban environment. How should we protect ourselves from this all increasing noise that surrounds us? And it doesn't matter where we go. If we work in a company, I have a building behind me that is being built at the very moment we speak. When I come home, my neighbor is building something. What is the most resilient solution that you could advise us in the long term?
It's hard to say, but I think we as a society should take care more about things like, okay, if we build a building, if there is a construction site, it's probably, there is no limit, or we can't limit it. We can limit the outside noise, for example, that we do not travel or commute into the office by car when there is a one person, because this is noisy as well. This is a source of the noise. Yeah, of course, when we talking about our home, yeah, there is another topic like your neighbors and noise from the neighbors and so on, and the materials which are used there. So probably even the walls and the floor, ceiling, how do we build, and what do we put there, like kind of insulation. How thick will be the insulation? It's important too, because then you can't hear your neighbors. If the insulation is thin, then you can hear your neighbors, and it's really disturbing. Yeah. So of course it's about behavior, and it's about me as a person, because there it starts. If I behave, I can call it sustainable. Yeah, not driving car just alone, but going in more people, for example, for travel business, for business trips, sorry. It can be the solution. We need to start by ourselves, and we need to look around and listen.
Thank you. One more follow-up question. We keep as a society, we are being more and more noisy and noisier. You showed us a picture of these wolves 100 years ago. People didn't speak so loud. I checked out the facts, and we are even being louder when we speak today. Maybe it's because surrounding is getting louder. But do you see this trajectory as well?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Comparing, for example, South countries, they are more louder, like a society in general, than we or in the North. But of course, when your surrounding is noisy and you want to talk, you talk louder and louder because you want to over loud or over speak your surroundings. So this is kind of Lombard effect. So you are going higher and higher. It's very nice to see or observe when we do the treatment in a room. For example, it can be a classroom or office. Then when the environment is silent, and I don't want to say that silent means 100% silent. There is always some background noise, which is okay. Yeah. But then, for example, children, they behave differently. They pay attention, they are concentrated, because there is a comfort. It's comfortable environment. They don't need to shout to each other, and the teacher don't need to speak louder and louder that the people or pupils at the end they can hear too. Yeah, so it's absolutely okay to have the treatment and the sound is traveling as we need. Yeah, sometimes we need the sound travel more, sometimes not. We need to stop it.
Iveta, thank you very much for this interesting presentation and discussion. Thank you.
My pleasure. Have a nice day.
You too. Last but not least summary. As we heard, we are surrounded by a load of noise. We keep experiencing more sound and more noise as we live in the city, move to our home offices and commute. It affects us, our behavior, effectiveness, and health. There are spaces that need to be dealt with acoustically. Good materials are important, as wrong solutions will not solve our acoustic problems, or like increase their negative effects. And this is where Ecophon brings a great advantage. And it is important to bear in mind that every one of us can influence the way we live and we surround ourselves with. So this was our last presentation of our second panel. I would like to thank you all for your time and patience and your questions and insights. I would like to thank our panelists for joining us today and share best practices, their ideas, their motivations, why they do what they do. We had a nice time debating the ways we can think about sustainability and the future from the global perspective. And we also focused in the second part on our personal well-being, which I think is a great balance. I would like to thank Nordic Chamber for organizing this event with the support of embassies of Finland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Iceland. We also organized this event in cooperation with the Confederation of Industry of the Czech Republic and Association of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises and Crafts. Before I will say hello to you and wish you a pleasant day, I would like to invite you for the next Sustainable Business and Circular Economy series, which will focus on smart cities and e-mobility on the 20th of May, responsible business on the 10th of June, and water management, 13th of October. We touched upon all of these topics today, so I think you are all involved and interested in these topics. I hope to see you during our next webinars. So have a nice day and think sustainably and be happy. Thank you. Bye.